Good afternoon, Wrestle Talk fans. And I again am your host, Joshua Zimmerman, here for another installment of Wrestle Talk Show. First and foremost, like we always do, we hope you had a very Merry Christmas, and we hope that you're ringing in the new year with your friends and family, and that you got everything you wanted for Christmas, and that everything's going smoothly, as always. Secondly, we'd like to thank you for your viewership. Without you, this would not be possible, and there would be no reason to do it. Your viewership lets me know that this is a worthwhile cause, and that every video I do is appreciated in some way, shape, or form by some percentage of the audience. I understand that my sabbatical left a lot of you not knowing what was going on, so we hope that the video viewership picks up a little bit as I am back, and I look forward to a very joyous new year of bringing you the week in professional wrestling, as well as any news bits and rumors that might fly up. Due to the holiday, it's safe to say that not much has happened, but we do have news from 12/23, from December 23rd and on. Wrestling's kind of taken a leave for the holiday, as most things are taped and whatnot. This past Friday night SmackDown, I'm working on the ratings, but it was a taping, so I think it might be safe to say look at the between 1.5, 1.8, 2.0 viewership rating as it usually gets. Between 1.5 and 1.8, I think, is a safe assumption. I wouldn't. 2.0 is the best case scenario, which I think it's safe to shoot under that. Just looking at past weeks on Sci-Fi and what the program has to offer and how it's been kind of stale. Safe to see, nice to see SmackDown moving past the Paul Bearer, Kane, and Edge storyline, because we've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Time to move on with 2011 and what wrestling has to offer us. Hopefully, it'll be something better than 2010 brought on. Effective December 23rd of 2010, Kaval has been released by World Wrestling Entertainment. He has gone on to Twitter and brought back his name low-key and says that he will keep his fans posted, and that this, more or less, according to his Twitter in a nutshell, is just a minor roadblock, and look forward to him to progress, and he'll keep his fans posted. Survivor Series in the preliminary reads drew 240,000 buys, up slightly from this time in 2009. On that note, WWE fourth quarter domestic buys are at 53% versus this time last year in quarter four they were at 55% in 2009. So a 2 to 3% drop just in Survivor Series buys. If you look overall, it just screams that these themed pay-per-views aren't getting WWE the ratings that they need. They don't accomplish anything. I believe I said in a previous video, a Hell in a Cell, for example, it works on one match, two matches that you're going to hype that come to a head at the Hell in a Cell and make the Hell in a Cell mean something. When every match has the provision of Hell in the Cell, where's the originality? Where's the specialness? I know that's not a word. What makes that Hell in a Cell special from the next Hell in a Cell? And there really is nothing special when you do one match right after the other based on these themed pay-per-views. Surprisingly enough, in 2011, most of these pay-per-views will come back. I guess they haven't gotten the hint yet that it's not really working out for them. But maybe 2012 or midpoint in 2011, by second quarter, they'll see that the last year didn't. There's nothing meriting keeping these pay-per-views around when you have your big ones that you're really starting to undersell, which should be Rumble, King of the Ring, Rumble, and Mania. And King of the Ring, if you ask me, Sheamus to win, yeah, pushing the new talent, hip hip hooray. But the way it was done on live TV, there really was nothing special about it. Whereas in years past, you were given a reason to buy that pay-per-view. It says something when WWE takes it from its pay-per-view environment and puts it on free TV and undersells it. It shows that, dare say, that they don't care, that they don't think that they'll get the viewership, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. If you made King of the Ring something worth buying, like we've said about every other pay-per-view, and every pay-per-view that's failed them, if you made it worth buying, maybe we wouldn't have this conversation. But if you're going to give it away on free TV, especially the qualifying matches, well, you could have done the qualifying matches on free TV and then led the last 3 matches to semifinals or the finals, if you will. Made it worth the $45 you're going to spend. Then I think you would have gotten the buys and you wouldn't have had to give it away on free TV. Too many times over the last, let's just say 90 days in general, they've given away pay-per-view quality matches on free TV. Another big flaw that I think they need to fix in 2011 and seriously address it, not just say they're going to address it, is if you're going to do something in a pay-per-view, do it in a pay-per-view. Don't do certain things in a pay-per-view and then conclude the pay-per-view on free TV for Monday Night Raw, or recap it for that matter. Because then what was the point in asking the fans the night before to spend $45 if you're going to touch on everything on Monday Night Raw? Which they've gotten a little better at, but there's still some critiquing that needs to be done, but that's neither here nor there. Moving on, Hulk Hogan has another back surgery on this past Tuesday. The procedure was a 10-hour procedure to correct his spine. As of December 23rd, he was still hospitalized and recovering. Former WWE wrestler, now TNA commentator Tazz, to launch Wrestling Finishing School in 2011, and I believe we also touched on this subject in one of our very first videos for Wrestle Talk Show. What he's noticing is that most of his people are TNA or WWE ready, but WWE and TNA don't have the room for new wrestlers. They already have way beyond bloated rosters. So again, you create the reason, actually, it echoes the reason why I created Continental Wrestling Entertainment, because you're starting to see what I brought up about a year ago, and that's you have a lot of good up-and-coming talent, but where the hell are they supposed to go? Neither of the major brands has the room to even, and it's sad, to even test out new gimmicks, because they've already invested too much time, money, or both in what they have going on, that if they cut it now, it would be a loss. For WWE, I think it's easier because, like we've always argued, they have an operating budget that doesn't seem to suffer quarter to quarter. So for them to pull out on things prematurely wouldn't be as risky as, say, if TNA were to do it, who are walking on eggshells when it comes to a budget, especially when you exhaust most of said budget in legends that don't really, I mean, Hogan on a consulting level, okay, give them that, but everybody else that gets these 6 figures, I think it's time in 2011, if we haven't said it enough, to, I don't know, I don't want to see anybody out of a job in this business, but evaluate what you're paying them and if they're worth it. If they're not, if they haven't worked in, say, a month, 2 months, then what the hell are they getting these bloated guaranteed contracts for if they're not contributing anything to your promotion and or the business, or both? What the hell's the point of spending money just to have them keep the locker room company? I mean, it's like an NFL player, even though the terms are a little different. Brett Favre, whether he can perform or not, is going to make money just by sitting on the bench. And I think that that's fine as long as he's going to come back to work in a week or two. And the same could be argued with a wrestler. As long as they're going to be able to work in a week or two, because we all know injuries happen. I'm not saying that you should cut whoever you're not using at the moment. But if you don't see in your game plan that you're going to bring these bench warmers, so to speak, back to work in the next couple weeks, then find a way, like every good company does, to pay off the wrestler, A, B, get them back to work, or C, level with them. I mean, they're not performing. They're still drawing a paycheck, which everybody wants to, and they can still draw a check. But I think some of these, especially in TNA, are drawing checks and have been for the last year, if not better, and they're not really contributing anything to the promotion and or the business. From a legal standpoint, we won't get into that. It would take too much time. But just evaluate who gets your big ticket contracts and if they're really worth it in 2011 to sustain yourself throughout 2011. But again, just to conclude that, Tazz is finding that there isn't the room that he thought there was. ROH announces All-Star Champions versus All-Stars match in the first show for 2011 on January 14th in Virginia. Champs include Roderick Strong, Christopher Daniels, and the tag team champions, King of Wrestling. All-Stars include Davey Richards, El Generico, and the Briscoes. Our subject for today, and we only have like 3 or 4 minutes to topple it, is that Vickie Gurrero getting the heat that she needed, and she's fit so well into where she's come, what she was a year ago, 2 years ago, to what she is now. But is the heat worth it to say that we're making fun of her weight and this gets her heat? Is it heat in the right manner? And does it teach your key demographic, 12 to 15-year-olds, kids, that picking on people gets attention? Picking on people is okay. It gets a rise out of the fans. It'll your circle, you'll be more appreciated. What message does it send when, yes, Vickie's voice is annoying, her attitude is perfect, you love to hate her, but where do you draw the line when you get a pop from the fans just because John Cena made a fat joke, as we've seen this past week? There's a lot of controversy about it. You could argue it any way you want, but I think Vickie has established herself enough to where they love to hate her, and it has nothing to do with her weight. It's about her personality on the microphone. They love to hate her already. The fat jokes are just over excessive. And it's the same thing as the gay jokes. Are they funny every once in a while? I'd be lying if I said I didn't laugh. But where do you draw the line? And that's where I leave it to you. Email us your response at cwecompany@gmail.com. Feel free to visit the show site at WrestleTalkShow.webs.com, as well as our Facebook and Twitter page, both at CWE Company. Until next time, again, happy holidays, happy New Year. Thanks for watching. And I believe our next show will be Monday Night Raw. Until next time, guys, have a great afternoon.